All right, I've got a really, hey, stereo police, listen. Stereo police. The stereo popo. I've got a really good video for you today, okay? It's not gonna be nonsense. But I'm gonna start out because I was really embarrassed by screwing up the eggs because of the non-stick pan. I didn't have butter. So I purchased butter today. And I was really embarrassed because I know how to cook eggs. I know how to slice tomato. And I cooked the meat product that no one has yet to name. Huh? No one named that meat product. So I'm going to cook the same meal today. By the way, you have a fast forward slider. In fact, I'll put a link in the description so you can fast forward over the food portion of my thing here. All right. I purchased butter today. Butter. Now, take a deep breath. This is how I cook eggs. The first thing I do when I pull them out of the refrigerator is soak them in warm water. I don't cook cold eggs. Spatula. Can never have enough butter. Guess what I bought today? Purchased. All right, I put the heat on a scale of low, 3, 6, and high. I put it on 3. Put it on 3 to get started. Now, I've always had difficulty. I cannot do a one-hand egg crack. I can do it, but I always get a shell. So I'm not even going to try to impress you with my egg crack prowess. I've got no prowess there. Nothing. I cannot do a one-hand egg crack. This is what I call eggs over sleazy, and I'll tell you why in a minute. This is a good pan because it doesn't wobble. I don't like wobbly pans. It doesn't heat up evenly on the bottom. All right. Let me see if I can get this job done. I like to cook them nice and slow. Now, eggs over sleazy. You give them a little wobble like that. You gotta wobble them. Just like that. That's what makes them eggs over sleazy. Now I'm gonna turn the heat down. See, they're starting to sizzle. I turn the heat down. Okay, and this part right here is not quite ready to flip yet. Nice low heat. Not too high, nice and low. I'll try to do this with one hand. This egg is cooking quicker than that one. This one's almost ready to flip. See how they're floating? Eggs should float in butter. That's the flip right there. It's a one-handed flip. Now watch this. Under, flip. You see that? That's the technique right there. You see how nice? You see? You thought I didn't know what I was doing. Look at that. Can you hear that sizzle? Hold on, I gotta put this down. I'm gonna get a little. They're almost ready to pull off. Put a little bit of salt. They're almost ready to pull off. A little bit of pepper. Now I cook them a little more than they need to be because I'm wary, not weary, wary. See how they're floating? You see that? Do you see that? And look at that pan. You see that pan? Okay. Now the pan is ready for some more butter. On a nice low heat. Look. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. You thought I couldn't you thought I couldn't start a cooking channel. You guys were laughing. You were laughing at Stereo Police last night. You were laughing. You thought I didn't know what I was doing just because I was drunk. I mean, just because I was in a hurry. Or loopy. Or high on life. Just watch. See that little sizzle? Just watch. Relax. Chill out. Almost done. Coming off in a second. Coming right off. Relax. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Okay. Here, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I'm not done yet. You think I'm not a chef? How dare you? How dare you? Voila. Or is it voila? Stereo police. Breakfast for dinner. Let's get to the speakers. Oh. Let me show you something. I had to plug in. My camcorder battery died again. That's what you see, that plug right there. I got to plug it in. I want to show you one more thing real quick. Real quick. I just got back from my sister's house. Got a great sister. She lives about 15-20 minutes away. And she made me something. I haven't looked at it yet. Still warm. Oh, they kind of fell. Well, they kind of fell, but stuffed peppers. You see that? Stuffed peppers. She made me stuffed peppers. That's a red bell and that's a green bell. Stuffed peppers. Look at that. Oops. Oh my God. It's got sauce on it. There's a red bell and a green. Oh my God, it's still warm. Huh? So should I go into my cooking channel? Should I just abandon the audio altogether? Hey, where do I fry these oysters? I'm doing fried oysters next. Fried oysters. Maybe I'll show you how to do them bad boys. My mom was Southern. My mom was from Tampa, Florida. Fried oysters. All right, let's get to the speakers. Stereo, please. All right, so I'm not going to start a cooking channel. You know, we all can't be good at everything. Well, some people think they are. But no. No, not me. I don't even really like to cook. But my wife's away. She's excellent at it. And I'm all refreshed and ready to get rolling again. I just played an hour's worth of rudiments and drumming, and so I'm kind of sweaty. All right. I'm going to see if I can show you the epoxy that I put on top of the screws. Not a looker. But I just put just a little bit of epoxy on top there to act as a lock washer, so those things don't thread their way off due to expansion and contraction and vibration and such. And it's not it's not an epoxy. I'm sorry, it's not even epoxy. It's an adhesive. It's an adhesive, and it will easily come off if those binding posts ever want to come off. But it's enough to hold them in place. Now we're going to test those capacitors. I don't have a schematic diagram for the crossover network. So what I'm going to do is clip one lead of each capacitor so it's an open circuit, and then get my capacitance meter. Let's see what those values are. Starting with this one, we have a 22 microfarad 40 volt. There's only 3 of them. This is a resistor right here. This has a magnetic core inductor, air core inductor, resistor. So 3 inductors, 3 capacitors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 resistors. This right here is a power resistor. It's 9 watts, 10%. Looks like 6R8. I forget. What is that? Is that an 8 ohm or 6 ohm? Anyway. So this capacitor here, 22 microfarad 40 volt. This is an 8 microfarad, it looks like. It's got some fuzz on it. These are high quality. I don't see any leakage, any signs of, any outward signs of any problems. These are both the same value right here, these two. Both of them look like 8 microfarad, 40 volt, 22. Yeah. I'll see if I can get a reading in circuit, but you typically can't do that. You have to clip one lead to do that. And if they're good, I'm going to leave them alone. because then we'll have the original sound, the way it was designed and meant to be. You'll get to hear everything original, which I think is important. And then if the owner wants to upgrade them later, if I was to really do a full restore here, I would upgrade all the wires, and of course the capacitors right here, and maybe these resistors possibly. These are 3 watt, like for example, oh, I can't read that, my eyes aren't good enough. 8 ohm resistor, that's an 8 ohm. This little tiny guy here is 150. That's 150 ohm, that's an 8 ohm. That's an 8 ohm. So, you know, of course you can't read the inductance value of the inductors. They're not going to be stamped on there in any way, shape, or form. I could certainly measure them. It doesn't matter. The inductors are not going to go bad. Well, they can go bad if the lamination, if they're overheated and the lamination heats off and there's a short circuit in them. That's just not going to happen. They look fantastic. All right, let me get my meter. We'll do some tests on those capacitors right now. And then when we're finished, I'm going to vacuum out the inside. We're going to tuck the insulation the way it was tucked before. They tuck the insulation under, well, there's some insulation in the mid-range box. This mid-range box gets sealed. I'll go through that later. They tuck the insulation under the wires, some under and some over, and that prevents the vibration, any vibration of the wires. This right here is a gasket. It's a nice little foam gasket that's gonna seal to this. So there's another little gasket right here. It's gonna make a seal to seal the mid-range box because that mid-range has an open back to it, and it doesn't want to experience. It doesn't want to become a drone woofer. It doesn't want to become a passive radiator, so to speak, from the woofers. That would destroy the mid-range. So it needs to have its sealed box. All right, I'm gonna hit pause and we'll get my meter. Hopefully I can find my capacitance meter somewhere. I haven't used it in eons. Be right back. Okay, let's start with well, first of all, I'll show you my meter. Show you what I'm using. This is what I use. You know, I don't have any super precision instruments. I don't need them. But this is what I'll be using to measure the capacitance. We're going to start with that one on the left. If you hear my alarm in the background, that's my phone alarm. I set it for 10 o'clock. And it's 10:03 right now. It's been going off for 3 minutes. But I woke up this morning at, 7 o'clock and started playing the drones. You know, I wonder, you know, let's remove the crossover. Let's remove the crossover. Let's see what the backside looks like. If I'm going to do this, maybe I should just look at the backside. Maybe there's an easier way. Instead of clipping these leads, maybe there's a better way to do it. And if ultimately I'm going to have to replace these things, then I'll probably have to remove the crossover anyway. There are 2 cross-recessed screws. That means Phillips. See, when I worked for the United States Army as an engineer, we had to call them cross-recessed. We didn't use the term Phillips.
I'm going to set this just like this so you guys can bring the camera over so you can see what the back side of the crossover looks like. Nothing special. It's certainly not a circuit board. It's point-to-point wiring, which a lot of us like, especially in tube amps and antique electronics. All right, so there's the back side. That's just the way things are wired. It's a pinch board. It's a little pinch board. And then it just gets mounted right there. That's a felt pad to prevent vibration. This one's stuck. That one's stuck to there. And it's got a couple of adhesive pads right there. And here's where things get soldered, like that. So I can pull those capacitors right out of there, you know, right out of the pinchies, the fingers. It's a fingerboard. I've seen them before. It's old school. Very old school. I've seen them around. They've been around, but you don't see them anymore. Everything is circuit board, circuit board, circuit board now. Printed circuit board. If you heard that, that's a gunshot. I live in the country, and there are hunters. My hunters are out hunting, while your hunters are smoking crack. All right. Yeah, there's no way I'm not going to desolder down there. So, let me think this through. Of course, I'm going to resolder the capacitor, but nah, it's a pretty good solder job down there. So I think the best way to do it is just right in the middle, just like that. This is a 22 microfarad, so I have a 20 microfarad range and a 200 microfarad range. So I'm on the 200 microfarad range. 22.1. Holy shucks tard. Let me set this up. We'll come over and see if you can see that. All right, I'm going to show you the measurement. .1. That's accurate. Man, that is accurate. That is one accurate capacitor. Boy, with electrolytics, they can vary wildly. That thing is dead nuts on the money. Why would I want to replace that thing? I mean, is there really any reason to test these other ones? These other ones are 8 microfarads, I think. I'm looking at the side. They look like 8. That's my alarm. Don't be alarmed. I made a funny. How about, since these are identical, I just test one of them? I don't know. Might as well test them. I'm going to put in the work. I ought to have a smaller pair of clippers to do this. I have tons of them. I just don't feel like going to get them. Don't worry, I'm going to resolder them. The connection will be better than the wire itself. So these are 8 microfarads, so I'm going to go to the 20 microfarad range. Okay, and I'm not getting a, you know, the wire's got gunk on it. The wire has like glue and stuff on it, so I'm not getting a connection. I might have to sandpaper it a little bit. That's what you're seeing here. I'm gonna scrape it off with my nail. The left side is fine, it's this right side right here. Let me see if I can scrape some off with my fingernail. I don't want to use alligators on this because that'll affect the capacitance. What does that say? Hold on, I'm a little shaky here. We're getting close to 8 there, I see it. I'm just shaky. Well, I'm not shaky, the capacitor is. 8 point. I'm moving around to try to get where the glue is not present. It's 8 point something, you saw it. 8.2 something. That's really accurate. I'm not going to clip the other one. I'm not going to measure the other one. These things are high quality. These are super high quality. Also, I'm going to re-glue these. Put a little adhesive and glue them back down. I'm going to do the same with the other speaker too. Get some. These are to prevent vibration. We don't want any vibration. And when I get finished, I'm going to run frequencies through it. Low frequencies through the range and listen for any vibration in here. Anything. And if there's something vibrating, we're going to find out what it is and fix it. Okay, now I need to resolder this up. I don't know that you really want to watch that. I'm going to take some sandpaper, clean these leads that I snipped really good. A little bit of sandpaper. And then resolder these wires. I don't think you want to watch me solder these. No, I think that's, you've already seen me solder enough. So I'm going to re-smolder these wires and then I'll come back. All right. I've already soldered the capacitors back in place.
Guess what I'm doing now? Doing the skunky work. Guess I'll have to let that dry. I got a text. I don't know, there's little white pads in here that look like they had some adhesive on there, so I'm going to put some quick setting epoxy back on there. Wonder who that text is from. Oh, I have a prescription ready. Always make a little more than I need, so I know that when it starts setting, and I know when I can flip that over. And when I flip it over, I'll show you. Now what's interesting is when I took both of these speakers apart, I'm going to go back and watch the video. I seem to recall that one of them had insulation in the mid-range box. I remember one of them did. I don't remember if the first one did and the second one didn't. I remember the second one did have insulation in the mid-range box. In the mid-range box. I think that's important to have. So I'm going to put some back in there. You know, it didn't really stick that well because the foam absorbed the epoxy. So I'm going to put a thicker layer on it now that it's starting to dry. That ought to work. And the screw holes are the two outer holes. And the screws fell down here somewhere. There's the other one. It's starting to dry. So when I got a cut yesterday working on a barn. So when I soldered the capacitors, I scraped them really good with the X-Acto knife. I use the X-Acto knife, got a little gunk off them. They soldered up real nicely, good connection. Maybe epoxy wasn't the best choice for foam. I just want it to stick so I can flip this over and keep those things in place. Of course, I could have put them on the bottom, but I'll probably have to cut this part out. Maybe I should hit pause for a second. Okay, I flipped it. Now finding the holes. I think I found one. Scroogey. The foam is secure. This thing is going to be vibration free. Oh yeah. It squeezes down the foam on either side. Oh yeah, it squeezes it nice and tight. Pinches that foam down. Nothing's rattling on this side. Oh. Here's something. Turn down these binding posts real. wires probably. I think it's the wood. It's called a vibration test. I don't know why. I hear some little tiny rattle. Tighten up all these screws and the woofers. It might go away when the rear baffle's installed. But of course we're going to put tones through it, bass tones. The woofer I did not remove was not exactly completely tight, and I'm tightening that now. I'm going to tighten mid-range. They each turn about 2 degrees, 3 degrees, 5 degrees. Just giving every screw here an extra little 1 or 2 degree turn. Well, we're going to find out if there's any rattles when we put tones through it. But there's get a close up. Bring the other one over. I think we're going to be fine. We're going to put tones to it. I'm going to make sure that there's absolutely no rattles at all. It's not going to leave my factory. Okay. So there's one cap and then there's the other cap, totally fixed. Everything is good. I don't want these guys touching. There's all the wires. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and shop vac this thing out. So, and maybe there's some little debris up there, I don't know, but we're going to shop vac it out and get that insulation in there. Tuck it all in there because we're ready to put the baffle on and give it a test. Oh, and I caught the fly, and I preserved him like in a little pin, like in a museum, and I'm going to put him in here. So his burial, the fly's burial, will be in your speaker forever. And his carcass will not rattle, he'll become part of the insulation. Him and his little lenticular eye. Okay, let's see. Alright, this is every bit of insulation that came out of this particular speaker. I'm going to kind of lay it out on the floor. This little puff was in there. Don't see anything touching. There's no vibration. I'm just... Okay, the insulation, the way it came, it was the insulation itself, the way it was tucked, was under the wires, like this. It went under the wires. Yep, under. And I'm speculating they did that to keep those wires from vibrating on the front baffle. Going to try to do a jolly job for you here. That's it. It's all the insulation. This is how they did it. There were two small screws. I got a memory. There were two small screws and the outer ones were large. Because I work on cars. You know, when you disassemble a car, you got to remember. You set things aside, but you darn sure better remember what goes where. Have that auto mechanics memory.
here's my torque pattern. Okay, I'm starting from the center. Torque patterns are always important. So you start from the center. Work outward both ways. We're going to pinch outward. Don't know why. Did I get it wrong? Maybe the fat side goes on top. See, I got the fat side on the bottom. Did I screw that up? Because I'm not hitting anything here. I'm not hitting anything. And I don't, and see, I'm sitting here talking about memory, but I didn't really pay attention. I don't mind showing you my screw ups. No skin off my back. Because we're all human. But I thought the fat side went on the bottom because they cover the woofers. Oh, there's insulation there. There's a screw hole there. I should be hitting it. There's a screw hole there. And there's one there. There's no reason I shouldn't be hitting those screw holes. There's just no reason. Boy, who thought this would be the hardest part of the job? But this thing, it does slide a little bit. There, I see it. Bump, bump, bump. You in there? All right. Let's try a different technique. That went in. It's weird. It's like, it's gonna give me trouble. All right, it's like I gotta lift a little bit. Let me see if this one goes in. It's like I gotta lift a little bit to get them in. Got that one in. You just gotta figure out the technique as you go along. I'll torque it. I'll get the torque pattern, but I'm just gonna set the screws first. Okay, got that one. Got that one. Please go in. Nope. Okay, I got that one. Yep. They're just a little fussy. Getting them lined up. Boy, they're fussy. Got that one. Okay, back to square one. Back to square one. Let's start with the torque pattern again. Center. Center. This dude here. Okay, this dude over here. These are the original screws, wood screws. This goes right into the wood down there. Okay, and then finally this one here, and that pinches everything nicely. Okay. Now this guy just flattens out all the micro distortions. They're nice and tight, nothing stripped. Click. About to look at the final product. We'll run some test tones through it right here, even though it doesn't sound good because my audio signal generator distorts at lower frequencies because the amplifier is being overdriven, but that's okay. We're just going to do a bench test before we take it, put it on the stereo. Done. I'm going to turn it upside down because the binding posts are on the other side. There's no vibrations. No vibrations. I guess you're unplugged. Don't you fall. No, you're plugged in. Guess because of the sunlight, I'm not seeing the pilot light. There it is. $5K, $10K, $1K, 100 hertz, $1K, 100 hertz. Vibration, vibration. It's 100 hertz, but you're hearing an overtone from distortion. 1K. That's 20 hertz. There's a little vibration. Of course, these don't go down to 20 hertz. 50 hertz. And this isn't going to put out what we need, but everything's working. Let me go to 1K again. Mid-range working. Tweeter working. Kind of like the eye test, huh? Tweeter's working. Ready to roll. Ready to roll. Okay. Take it over the couch. Final product. My battery's about to die. Well, I got one little bar on the battery. So I'm gonna have to wrap this up for now. Final product, P45. Tested. Tweeter fixed. This battery is very close to dying. Tweeter fixed. Binding posts. Right where they should be. You know, let me look at the other one. I thought I put this woofer in correctly, you know, with the two little lines there and there. I thought I did it the way the other one was. Did I goof that up? Not that it doesn't matter a lick, but I wanted to make it the same as this one. I might have screwed it up. Nope, got it right. Nailed it. That's how good I is. I is good. Stereo Police. Stereo Police is good. Not really. He thinks he is. His wife tells him otherwise. Stereo Police. Ciao.